Warning. The following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rod Parsley yelling and screaming and humiliating his church members. He is a cult leader, like I've been saying for over 20 years. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Von Hanshaw. Welcome to the Word of Truth broadcast. On today's program, we're going to be looking into the life of Rod Parsley. Some footage have been revealed where he is screaming and yelling and humiliating his church members. Now, I've made other videos, a lot of them, on what does a cult leader look like? Traits of cult leaders, characteristics of cult leaders. We're going to show you a clip here of Rod Parsley yelling and screaming at his church members. I'm going to show you this clip, and this is exactly what cult leaders do. I'll be right back in a few minutes.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 12 of Mega Maniacs, and this episode is entitled Holy Terror. And in this episode, it's going to be a little bit different than how I usually present, where I talk about an experience and then I will read my Bible verses at the end. In this episode, I'm actually going to read 2 Timothy 3, the entire chapter for you. And then I'm going to show yet another compelling video of Rod berating and belittling staff. Not behind closed doors this time, though, but outside in the public for anyone that was around to hear and see. And then after that video, I want to give a little bit more context regarding the video, because not only are there things happening within that video that I think need a little explaining, but I have unfortunately an interesting but sad story to go along with that from a little bit different perspective, and how I ended up finding out about this whole entire situation that ended up happening, that you will see on the video. But I think it's needed so you can fully understand not only what you just witnessed in the video, but what staff members encounter on a daily or almost daily basis. So to get started, I'm going to, like I said, read 2 Timothy chapter 3. So it says, "This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, and unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women, laden with sins, led away with divers lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Now, as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds, reprobate concerning the faith. But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs also was. But thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long-suffering, charity, patience, persecutions, afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra. What persecutions I endured, but out of them all the Lord delivered me. Yea, and all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them, and that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith which is in Christ Jesus. All scripture is given by inspiration of God, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works. And I always read the King James version, so I know some of you probably read a different version, and maybe the verbiage is a little bit more updated from what I read, but that's my preference on just for myself is the King James version. So we're going to now show the video, okay? And then after that, we'll come back and dissect that a little bit.
Mixtures in the right place for the camera shot.
Yes, sir.
Could we wake up?
Yes, sir.
And you people want to go to Israel and do a shoot? You can't do one on the property. Why am I bringing volunteers out here to do y'all's job? My granddad died, my son is a don't you lift your voice to me when you stay home. You want to go home? Yes or no? Okay. We didn't know about this until this morning. And they only told us to do this part over here. We weren't there. It was all me. Oh, no. We've been using one man all week to run a power.
Okay, so what do we know what entrance that we're talking about to block it off?
Yeah, you get your job.
Is this the entrance he's saying block off?
You don't know nothing.
Is this the entrance? No, I would leave that one. No, I would leave it alone.
I'm gonna fucking kill somebody. Wait.
So these outbursts that you saw in the video and verbal beatings are very commonplace, to the point that I noticed that, you know, the staff seemed to be completely desensitized to it, and it furthermore, like the audio clip from episode 2, no one but the one young man was willing to speak up, say anything. And I'm sure, as you heard on the video, I don't know, you know, if it's normally his personality to speak up and speak his mind in that way, especially to, you know, Rod Parsley. But I think that you heard that, you know, he says in the video that his grandfather just passed away. So I'm sure that he was under additional stress and very sad. And I have another story from a different perspective in regards to that will also give some additional insight as to how this story kind of comes full circle. So in dissecting the video a little bit, the faces of everyone in the video other than Rod himself are blurred just because, you know, we want to try to keep confidentiality. Whether they still work there or do not work there, we thought that was the correct thing to do. When this all happened, it was in early September of 2021, and, you know, I was still the HR director there. And they were trying to get, a shot that they were going to film for 9/11. And I don't know if they were recreating something that they had done years before, or if it was something new, but that's a little bit of context as to why they were outside, and there were multiple staff members, including those from the media department and those that work directly for the Parsleys. And so they're outside, they're discussing what the shot is going to look like, and then you see that Rod is very unhappy, and then they go off camera, and the young man that you see storming off is telling him that he had just found out about this project that morning, and that his grandfather had also just passed away. So my experience because I think the video itself, you can draw your own conclusion and kind of see what's going on there. But from my perspective, September 4th was a Saturday in 2021, and that happens to be my oldest son's birthday, and that's why this, not only it stuck out because there's more to the story, which I'm going to tell you, but the date stuck out because, I had planned a birthday party and all of those things. So then the September 6th would then be Labor Day, so we would have been off, for that, and come back to work on Tuesday. So when I came back to work, just for, all intents and purposes, I'm completely unaware of anything that had happened over the weekend. I don't know details about anything at this point. So I'm in the office. I'm, trying to get caught up from being off from the weekend, and then, that Monday for Labor Day. And I received a text from my boss that said that our director of facilities was out, and that was really all of the context that I received, that he was out and had said he wasn't really sure when he was going to be returning, and they wanted me to reach out to him and find out when he was going to be back. So initially I called and didn't get an answer, and so then I sent him a text and said, hey, I just wanted to reach out to you. I hope you're having a good vacation. And because, again, at this point, this is what I'm thinking. Hope you have a good vacation, and just wanted to see when you were planning on being back to work. And shortly after that, he called me, and let's just say he was less than kind on the phone, but then he says, Robin, I'm out of town because my father unexpectedly passed away, and I had to come for the funeral. And at this point, and probably still to this day, there's pretty much a skeleton crew for almost every department there, because it's very hard to not only find people that want to work there, find people that, will agree to all the terms and conditions of actually working there and then keeping them there. So our facilities department at that point was the director of facilities and basically his sons. Okay, so the gentleman that you see in the video was one of the sons, and I don't know how he got the short end of the stick in this, but they had to decide that somebody was going to stay back and try to keep up with everything at the church, and that so if there was an emergency, that there was someone there. And so this young man that you see in the video, very upset, had to forego going to his own grandfather's funeral so that he could serve the Parsleys and their needs and any emergencies that were going on at their building. So again, I am sure that you can understand his position a little bit more, knowing that he, was in a very terrible, compromising position. But now I am also. So I'm flabbergasted because I knew nothing about there being a death in their family or anything like that. And so I let, the director of facilities get out what he wanted to say to me, but then I apologized to him and told him that I was completely unaware that that his father had passed away, and I was so sorry, and that I would be praying for him and his family, and that I would have never reached out to him in the manner that I did had I been told and been aware that he was grieving and was going through this loss of his father that seemed to be unexpected. So from there, I then, after we get off the phone, he said that he would contact me back, or he would reach out to my boss and them directly to discuss, because there had already been a situation prior to us coming back from the holiday, and he was referring to what you saw on the video. But again, at that point, I was not aware of any of those details either. And so then I reached back out to my boss to let her know what I had found out, but also to say, hey, why didn't you tell me that he had a death in his family? I would have never reached out to him in the manner that I did had I known. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were aware, and which to me was hogwash. I believe that they probably did want to know when he was coming back, but they were also probably very upset over the encounter that you saw in the video, and not having their full crew there to make sure that they could do whatever they needed to do, even though these poor people had just had this very serious loss in their family. And in regards to that all as well, is that skeleton crew in the facilities department, which again I'm sure still exists today, they are not only responsible for the 122,000 square foot building that is World Harvest Church Harvest Preparatory School, but they're also responsible for some upkeep and lawn mowing at Rod Parsley's personal residence, also at Ashton Parsley's personal residence. And then there's also a hunting / recreation site in Granville, Ohio, that they also have some responsibilities for. So you're talking, 3-4 people for all of that's not enough even for the 122,000 square foot building, let alone all of these other projects. And so it's a little off topic, but the responsibility that they have, a lot of the things, fall by the wayside because the Parsley's residences and what they need is always first priority. And so if you've got something going on at the church or at the school, it may take a back burner to these other things, which, with a housing allowance, which ministers receive, you should be hiring your own companies and people to come out and take care of your residences, because that's why you can claim some exemption in taxes on your salary, is that you can allocate certain things to a housing allowance, and those things you need to be, paying for, and that's why you can write some of those off, up to whatever you can prove, but they say around 49 or 50%. But I digress. That's, again, I kind of get off on tangents and can go and talking about things that, can certainly be in other episodes. And so, that's really, from my perspective, all that I have for this episode, but I wanted to give you, again, something that's irrefutable. A picture, a video, an audio clip, those are all worth 1,000 words, if not more, because it's not something that I'm saying. It's not something that I'm quoting. This is real life events that not only were happening when I was there, they were happening before I was there, and I'm sure that they continue to happen. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't have anything to report on or talk about if it wasn't happening in the first place. And there does need to be a light shed on these people and these events and the way that people are being treated day in and day out. And they are, so verbally and emotionally abused that most of them just, kind of ignore it because it's so commonplace that it's just like another day at the office, basically. And I am very sad for my friends that did work there with me and would come and tell me what's happening to them. I'm sorry for the people that are still there and have to endure these, verbal beatings on an almost daily basis, or maybe on a daily basis. And I just want the Parsleys themselves and probably the people around them to look in the mirror and take a hard look at themselves and maybe say, you know what, I've been going about this all wrong. I am a human being, but and I make mistakes, and maybe I've been making some mistakes here. So how do I fix that? And I think that not only would go a long way with people, that it would also show that they are human, they are not perfect, and they make mistakes too, and that there's they're really sorry for how they've behaved and how they continue to behave. And maybe the ministry itself would just grow exponentially if that were to happen, and that they would decide that they were going to go in a different direction. So thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and thank you for all of your messages. Please continue to keep me in prayer, and keep the Parsleys and all of the people that work at World Harvest Church and attend World Harvest Church and Harvest Preparatory School. Please keep them all in prayer. I'm sure they can use it. Have a good evening.
So there we saw Rod Parsley, the Word of Faith, prosperity gospel cult leader that he is, on video, live and in color, humiliating, yelling, screaming, condescending to those employees. That's exactly what cult leaders do. I mean, to the T. I've been studying cult leaders now for over 30 years, and Rod Parsley is beyond a shadow of a doubt a absolute bona fide cult leader. There's no doubt about it. And I'm looking for scandals to be forthcoming in the future regarding Rod Parsley. Now, I'm going to show you in this next section of this video 2 video clips from Jim Jones. If you don't know who Jim Jones was, he's the man in the 1970s who took about 1,000 people to a South American jungle down in Guyana, and they drank the Kool-Aid. And those that refused to drink the Kool-Aid, they got shot. There were a few that escaped, but most died. Why? Because Jim Jones also yelled, screamed, humiliated, physically abused, sexually abused, verbally abused, financially abused, all of his church members. Listen to this. Now, if you have children, I would advise you to tell them not to listen to this portion of my video, because Jones, in my opinion, was completely demon-possessed, and his language bears that out. Watch this. Hello, friends. I hope you're enjoying today's program. If it's a blessing to you, I would encourage you to like the video, to comment on it, and most importantly, to subscribe to my YouTube channel, share these videos. We want to get the message of the true truth of the true gospel out there. And the more you like my videos and comment on them and subscribe, then that helps the algorithm. Again, I pray that today's show has been a blessing to you, and we're going to get right back into it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let's get back into today's program. Hello, friends. We're offering a special book, Christian Doctrines from an Arminian perspective. I know a lot of you request me of the question, where can I get a good book on doctrines? Well, I've finished this one, and I cover every doctrine, every major doctrine in Christianity. The doctrine of God, the doctrine of Jesus Christ, the doctrine of the Holy Spirit, the doctrine of the Scriptures, the doctrine of man, the doctrine of salvation, the doctrine of man's free will, the doctrine of perseverance, the doctrine of heaven, the doctrine of hell, the doctrine of sanctification, the doctrine of demons, the doctrine of Satan, the doctrine of evangelism and global missions, the millennial reign. And I have one chapter that I've dedicated to all the false doctrines in the world today, the major ones. So be sure to avail yourself of this special offer. And I'm not charging anything for this. I am accepting any size donation or love offering. And if you can't afford it, then I will get this ebook. It's an ebook. It's not a paperback book. It's an ebook that I will email to you. It's about nearly 300 pages long. And so it's a book on all the fundamental doctrines of Christianity. Make sure and order your copy of this today. Now let's get back into the program.
That bug wasn't hurting you. I saw you. Don't you tell me you weren't. I saw you step your foot on that bug. And playing with animals, dissecting them. You do that in biology, a necessity. When they're dead, you don't need to. What did you do it? Will you tell me why you stepped up? Do you have any counseling set up for these kids? When you get a kid like this, do you have any counseling set up in the teacher program? I'm going to give you a break this time. Let Comrade Grubb put you in principal into a class where we'll talk about why you did step on that bug. You understand what I'm saying? Don't torture things. It's just like the world is so full of pain, and that poor bug was still alive when you finished. Still alive. Did you tear his wing off? I wonder how he lost the wing.
I looked down at the bug was all right.
I hope you wake up some of these kids. I'm sick of them doing this. They do this all the time around here. You're gonna go on the ass. He did. He said yes. He took the wing off the bug. Am I overacting? You people tell me.
No, you're not. No,
to me,
no.
If you don't learn sensitivity for life young, you sure ain't gonna learn it later. Well, why do you suppose I'd rather, I can't even eat chicken. I can't even eat chicken. I've watched too many of them die. I can't even eat it. Just can't eat it. I saw those chickens die, and they die calmly. When you love them, and they're frustrating, you can tell distinctly that they know that they're dying. they're waiting the guillotine. You can tell. You don't need to tell me. I've been back there. You that have cut chickens. It's a truth. They can tell. They become excited. And that's why, for health's sake, I'm not suggesting we don't. I'd like to be a vegetarian, but I don't know how the hell it's ever going to work out here. But I'd like to be a vegetarian someday, because I don't like brutality. And I hate to see chickens, young chickens, their heads snapped off of them. And you can tell it every time. Every time you pick that chicken out, you can tell that chicken knows what's coming. It's not anthropomorphic. I mean, I watch that chicken. You can tell what is coming. The chicken knows it, and we try to love it. Okay, sleep on there. I know it don't make no difference to you about chicken, but you know, there may be a step up sometimes. Somebody may decide to chop your head off. I don't like violence. I deplored it. I deplored its use. Some people thought it was necessary. I have found we've gotten along very well without it, although some have tried us with an indeed immense amount of patience.
For the third time running, someone has tried to poison my food. We have the sediments. We're going to study them under the microscope. What kind of beast do we have in our midst? But don't you worry. If you're guilty, we'll find you. My feet may not be ready, but what I can put in my hands is. To know I'm charged this shit, if I catch you, the court won't have any opportunity to deal with you, because I'm going to hang you on the highest tree I can find. That kitchen crew to watch that food from beginning to end. I don't worry about myself as much for our people. I want you to watch that food. But we got some kooks in our midst. You may be seated. You think you're smart, don't you? You think you're dealing with just ordinary man. Wait till I get through with you. Can we go on with the program? Whatever we have to take care of business-wise. Turn the lights on the center section now, folks, so I can see the whites of everybody's eyes. I'm sick of this. It's enough trouble trying to stay awake, alert, and on the ball to defend my people, to have somebody give me enough to knock out a horse. God damn you, you can give me enough to knock out an elephant and I'll still be there to beat your ass.
So I feel for you children. I hate to see you tied. My heart's crying out to you, why don't you let Dad help you so you won't have to be tied anymore? Why don't you do what the other students do? Thank you for being so selfish when I couldn't dream of eating and they want me to eat protein because of the situation that I'm having right now. I thank you that took the extra plates. Thank you, selfish sons of bitches that ought to have died before you ever got over to the promised land.
Some mitigating circumstances for Anthony. I've had no problems of late. Just does these silly ass things. He goes and... What? I think he menstruates every 6 months or something. Through the asshole. It's true, Anthony does real well till his cycle comes. You men always making fun of women having their cycle. Shit. They have cycles. I'd damn if they don't. He had a warning on the 27th? Oh, shit. Well, that's too bad, Anthony. I kind of like you, generally speaking. You lazy. Well, he's menstruating. You see, his comes through the head, red. Hold in there, Anthony. We do have our cycle.
Okay.
Watch it. Yours is strange tonight. Just don't menstruate on the floor. Show him where to put his Tampax on the next time.
Put another scar deep in the psyche of us all. Make all of us feel like we want to go out and get blowtorches so our skin get a little darker. I'd like to get Grace, because Grace has put me through more personal pain. But the real conniving bitch that I'd like to get and have delivered here, from a revolutionary standpoint, is her, and put her out in the fucking sun and let the birds pick on her for about a week. Now, what would you have done? What would you have done if somebody had done you what Grace Stone has? Bit your penis half off and your damn nose half off. You are killing your leader. The CIA hasn't been able to do it. Nobody's been able to reach out with the CIA bullet and get me. You underestimate my intelligence. You fuckers are too stupid to deal with me, and I am too sick of dealing with people who play these stupid-ass games. I'd like to make him the tiger bait. That tiger's been awful nice to us. He's gotten our enemies, never bothered us. I'd like to park his ass on a stake out there in the yard, let the tiger see him. That's the wonderful thing about a socialist society. If you're a child molester, we don't isolate you. We just say you've got a sickness in a certain area. We recognize you're good in the United States, you're done. Whew. Got beans? That's my shit. I like the beans. Beans, the musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel. I know you fuckers are happy to see me drunk. I hear this shit. This shit just tears the fuck out of me. It tears the fuck out of me. You people just tear the fuck out of me. Goddamn shit. Some of you want some cover ass. You want something to go back to. Well, you ain't going back to nothing because they wouldn't let you if you could. It's immoral to destroy an organization like this. It's immoral to try to kill a movement where a leader cares so infinitely as he cares and tries to build a structure of caring. It's immoral. It's criminal. And you should get it, goddamn you. The money did and what your comforts did. Every time you bought a McDonald's hamburger, a portion of it went to war and CIA murder. Every time you went to a movie, every time you lifted up your fucking telephone, what is it? How much of the telephone bill? I've forgotten. How much of the telephone bill goes to warfare? What? 10%. Thank you. 10%. Every time you pay a bill, dial a telephone, all your pay telephones, there's really high on the pay telephones. Much of that goes to war. So you'll get adjusted. It'll be time, and we're patient. But everybody can understand this shit. You don't check us out. Christ, we let people do that, and they went back and lied. Mrs. Williams, I want to go back and make money. I've got my time, and I'll go back and make money, and just cried how much I love you, Father, and you saved me from cancer, and you healed my husband, raised him from the dead. Yeah. She went back, and I don't know who twisted her thumb, but hell, she's been a mean enemy. We got the Olivers, and they're trying to kidnap their child. Tried to kidnap them, taking blood white money to murder. Sons of bitches. And Tim Stone finally, from crying, wanting to clear up all of our records, he's now back there, he asked for the death of Chris Lewis. We got the proof of it. He and Myrtle and Grace. And I don't know who else, but I know that much about it. Won't know the rest till they get into that case and see some of it that you carried in here. I guess you carried it in. I guess they're looking at that case. But it's a hell of a business. And when you stop to think of the murderous shit that's being done in the United States, you'll adjust. And I don't believe the boyfriend will have any problem, and your girl will adjust. Everybody else has, white and black. And I don't mean it just because there's a damn gun around here and there's machine guns and that kind of stuff. I don't mean that. I'm talking about adjusted because they see. Finally they see. Right. Doesn't mean that life, everything going to be happy and wonderful and purposeful 24 hours a day. But when you stop to think about this place as opposed to that place, your child could have an accident. Your child could have an accident. That pretty little girl there could have an accident. Where in the hell would they have a love of a father that would get an airplane like you guys come in on, pay that son of a bitch, run it in, have a neurologist there, take the doctor in on it, take him back on it with the patient, take him out of a meeting he was supposed to go to, and have a neurologist ready to fly in and pay $25,000. Now, where in the hell are you going to get that? And I don't know where the next penny is coming in. And I had to give my body to give money. It wasn't communal money. Hell's fire. It wasn't your tithes. I wouldn't have been able to pay the $6 million worth of property here. I wouldn't have been able to pay for the $6 million worth of buildings and developments and hydraulic, the heavy duty. I wouldn't have been able to pay for this shit. Not talk about central supply. Go look at that and look in the medical department. You look at $100,000 worth of supplies. Not talk about medicines. Talk $250,000 U.S. You're talking nearly $1 million Guyanese right down there. Shit. And we got some money here for several months. They can cut us off all of our checks. They'll give us time to decide who's going to fuck who out there. I'm old, but by God, I can find some old floozy down the river. I fucked before, I can fuck again. Now you got some old rich bitches down there don't want to go socialist and got money around their waist. Patty gets it, by God, and Patty isn't what you call the Miss America contest winner, but she sure as hell knows how to get that money, don't she? Every week she comes in here, we have to live on. That's why Tommy and Patty and Ravina are charmers. Every week they come back with $1,000. And we have to have that. And every week those little kids, you saw them going out in the streets. We got a lot of friends in Guyana. You saw Joan, the little black young lady, and you saw Bobby, the little white young man. They make $1,000 a week. That's what the hell it takes. And if you could trust some more of these sons of bitches, we'd eat. We'll eat. Right. Fuck, we'll eat. You bet your ass we'll eat. Nuclear war comes, we'll eat. Any kind of chaos, the world depression they're talking about, like the OECD says that Japan doesn't do something to release their surpluses very damn quick in West Germany, the whole economic system is going to collapse, and Japan won't do it because it's racist. They won't do it. And so the United States is dollars going down, 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 down. Inflation going up, 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 up. And they're on the verge of a 1929 crash. I hope it comes. Shit, we'll have it made then. Right. I don't want the nuclear war to come till we see everybody out of there that wants a chance at life. But this life for your children. Don't worry about you and I. You're getting up my age. Don't worry about us. Hell, look at your child. She couldn't have lived in America. She's got to face nuclear war. She got to face nuclear war or famines because they run out of food. The ecosystem's all fucked up. You saw how the water washed away Los Angeles practically a few weeks ago because they seed the clouds for the rich. And 2 years of drought because people have messed up the whole weather. The United States is a dying nation. Its cities are dying. Its farmlands are dying. Nebraska, the main food belt, was washed out in these floods. We got land. Wildlife out there. Frogs bigger than a domestic chicken. Right. I just don't like to go eating them, but they get them out. The kids get them out of the well every day. Little Hicks kid, they get them out of the kid. He and his comrade, I don't know who helps him. They get those big frogs, big as a chicken. Right. I just don't like to go eating them. No, they're tasty. I love to eat them. I just kind of have a fondness for the mother, the way they protect their young, because they'll put their mother right on. The mother will ride frogs on their back as big as bullfrogs in the States. Their babies, when they come, are big as bullfrogs, and she fights for them. She'll stand up on her and just fight for those frogs. And we saw one in our well drown, floating her babies. Her babies didn't drown. She drowned, floating her babies. Because they're land frogs, and they get in our wells. We got beautiful mineral springs, clean air, shit stuff clears up here. You think U.S. is so great? When you go through your medical exam, we'll see. 19 people have been through medical exams in the States. We found cancer in them. Right. It had died. Right. We hadn't got to it and got surgery quick, radiation quick. So there'll be some things that'll be hard for your adjustment. Get the matter out clear. I just want to clear the slate, though. We say everything directly to our face here. No criticism. Can't say anything behind anybody's back. If you do, you're in trouble. If you want to say anything in town form, you can say it. Say anything to me, you want to write up criticism about how to improve the place, fine, we welcome it. All socialists grow through self-criticism and group criticism. We welcome it. Now, you understand the essence of what I'm talking about. All of you understand it. You're going to live with her and you're going to be peaceful. Where'd she go? Did she leave you already? Yes, Dad. We have a little crowded housing. We're sorry about that, but you will have your own space for coupling. We try to keep our children in places where we can give them proper medical health and observe them for a while. We don't have time to build family houses yet, but couples are together. We keep our children under controlled situations so that we can get rid of the diseases. Diseases that we got here? No. Tuberculosis that you brought in with your children from the United States. You wouldn't believe the shit we found that was carried in here. People say worms in the jungle? We got a child here that had tapeworm from the United States that blocked the bowel. If I hadn't have found it in the middle of the night, little Jim Arthur, if I hadn't have found him, he'd have died. Right. Blocked with tapeworms. I just felt a sensation to walk out at 4 o'clock in the morning to where he was, way over there in the field, or he'd have been dead. We've had miracles after miracles, people paralyzed from accidents, not following safety instructions. We got to all be careful about walking now because we're in the cycle of threes about brain injuries, which is a hell of a business. Got a lot on my mind tonight. I got to sit here with a lot on my mind. I don't want to tell you how bad that child, what condition that child's in. I got to sit with that on my mind and deal with it. This is the analysis this is about how many children we've had blind. I can't be expected to heal everybody. I can't be. I'm a human that feels pain, needs sleep, just like the rest of you. I happen to have a scientific socialist faculty that's beyond the normal. And that shouldn't be expected of me. Particular people shouldn't be careless and get me in these messes. Somebody sometime not going to get healed. That child's alive, and I got more to do. I got more to do because the child's blind. Understand? I got more to do. That's one hell of a business because this goddamn shit. But David Goodwin was healed. He was blind. And who else was blind? Rose was blind. And right here, our sister was blind. Tommy Bikeman was blind. Hell, he was blown to shrapnel practically. Blew him up. Bones twisted and torn, dead. So somehow, the consciousness will be there. But I got to sit there worrying because I don't believe in nothing of love in this universe. These kids got their ball equipment in first goddamn day. Their lovely equipment, and the first goddamn day they play, somebody gets them. They get killed. They get killed. I mean, his brain is split open. I'm tired, and my words are not coming.
All right, folks, so there you have it. What I wanted to accomplish in this video was a small comparison, but a needful one, a very beneficial one. You have Rod Parsley yelling, screaming, humiliating church members. Where is that at in the Bible? Nowhere. Men of God, pastors, evangelists, teachers of God's word are to be humble, servants to all. But see, this Word of Faith crowd, this prosperity crowd, they're the ones being served. They're the kings. They're the gods. They're the ones that rake in all the money, and they're like mafia crime bosses. I mean, they really, truly are. So I just want to show you a comparison of Jim Jones, an absolute known, worldwide, global known cult leader, and how he verbally assaulted, verbally abused his church members, just like Rod Parsley verbally abused his church members. And I'm telling you now, and I'm saying it loud, and I don't stutter, and I'm talking clear. If you watch, listen to, or support Rod Parsley, my advice to you is to stop that, run from that man, because he is a false teacher. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's an angel of light, full of his father the devil, and the works of his father the devil he does. Thank you for being with me on today's program.